Child sex abuse cases are on the rise in Oklahoma. Steve Shaw joins us now to explain what community leaders are doing to address the issue. Steve.
Well, Taylor, my antenna went up last month after the district attorney in Tulsa said his department used to get 50 child sex abuse cases a month. Now he says they get 50 a week. Kaylee Chulik is known as a forensic interviewer at the CART House in Yukon. CART stands for Child Abuse Response Team. It's located in Yukon's former health department. Last year, it was converted into what they call the Cardinal Point Family Justice Center. It houses the CART House and other Canadian County social services.
We have legal aid here. We have the DA's office here. We have mental health here.
Joanne Riley is executive director of CART House.
You know, sometimes people escape domestic violence with nothing but their clothes on their back.
The CART House is one of 21 child advocacy centers across the state.
Come on.
With the help of Kaylee's 10-year-old licensed emotional support and facility dog, Hartley, Kaylee's conducted more than 500 forensic interviews with children who police or prosecutors suspected had been sexually assaulted.
You can tell that it really relieves a lot of stress.
I'll bet you Hartley opens doors, doesn't he?
He does, yeah, especially with little kids. I'll be talking with a little kid, and sometimes they'll be laying in his bed with him in the interview room, or just laying there like petting him, and also with teenagers too. Teenagers don't so much lay in the bed with him like the little kids do, but the teenagers will often sit next to him and pet him and kind of just let their stress go to him. Being interviewed at a police station or a DHS office, there could be so many barriers for a child to disclose. And so being here, they have to be brought by a safe person, and that's deemed by DHS or law enforcement and us. We make sure that whoever brings the child is a safe person for that child, and that this place is a neutral place for them to come and talk about things that they want to talk about.
OSBI statistics show that reported incidents of child sex abuse are up around the state. 12,080 reported incidents of child sexual abuse from 2021 to 2025, or an average of 2,416 cases per year.
Last year, from 24 to 25, we had a 30% increase in the kiddos that we saw.
Like abuse victims?
Yes.
I appreciate you guys raising awareness about child sexual abuse because it is happening. A lot of people want to think that it's not happening or it's not something that would happen to someone that they know, but there are a lot of children, especially in Canadian County, that have been victims of abuse or do need someone to talk to about these things.
That's what's scary to me, is that people, you may carry this for years, but unless it's addressed, it's always going to come out in some way, and a lot of times it's ugly.
Yes, and that's what we've had a lot of kiddos that come here with delayed disclosure. So often when children are sexually abused, they don't tell immediately. And so they'll hold it in, and sometimes it presents, like you were saying, in different ways by behavioral issues
Addiction.
Addiction, different things like that.
3 years ago, the state legislature almost doubled their support for child advocacy centers from $2.6 million to $5.8 million a year. Canadian County District Attorney Tommy Humphreys says the state could use more child advocacy centers because resources are spread thin, especially on the western side of the state.
So if you talk to directors of child advocacy centers, they're going to tell you year in and out, probably since COVID, that we see an increase in the number of interviews that they're asked to do. And so here in my DA district, I'm the DA for 5 counties, Grant, Garfield, Kingfisher, Canadian, and Blaine. I'm very fortunate to have 2 advocacy centers. We have one in Enid and we have one here in El Reno. But you think about the size of my DA district from Oklahoma City to Kansas, there's 2 places to go get these vital forensic interviews. And so if they're seeing more interviews, we want to have those interviews. If a child needs to tell their story, if something is terrible like that has happened to them, we want them to be able to tell their story in a safe, comfortable place like a child advocacy center.
Joe Dorman is CEO of the Oklahoma Institute for Child Advocacy.
The world has become a much scarier place because of the internet. We do have predators who have upped their game, so to speak, on trying to reach out to these kids. They can do it in a mass way now, reaching out to multiple people through gaming sites or through direct messages or other ways to communicate with children. One of my best friends had a teenage daughter in Texas during the pandemic that a predator reached out to her through a social media account that the parents didn't know she had.
He says it's great the state legislature gave the state's child advocacy centers a financial boost 3 years ago, but they need more.
21, unfortunately, is not enough with the numbers that we see in Oklahoma.
We see all kinds of incident. We're seeing children, because of online activity, are more sexualized. They have access to sexual materials themselves. They have access to strangers. So we do see both, but You're right. A lot of times it can be by a family member, someone that has access, but we are seeing an increase in just online activity in general.
Yeah, the thing that's scary is these kids get online to play games, but the reality is the person they're dealing with is a predator online, and they want them to send them pictures.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody we talk to also say one reason for the increase in child sex abuse cases may simply be that everybody is getting better at not just identifying it, but then doing something about it.